Welcome to Library Madness, and today we're going to make homemade bouncy balls. So to begin with, you have most of the materials that you need in your kit, but you do need to gather the following things from home. You need to get a tablespoon, you need to get a teaspoon, you need something to cover your work surface and or a tray, and then if you said you had food coloring at home, I didn't include it in the kit. You need to pick out whatever color of food coloring you like. You're just going to need one. So gather those materials and then we'll begin. So to start with, you have a container that's labeled glue and you have a craft stick, and you're going to want to dump the glue into one of the cups. And you want to use your craft stick to scrape to try to get as much of the glue as possible out of this cup. I pre-measured it for you, but we don't want to leave too much behind. So go ahead and you're going to scrape. Try to get out as much as you can, okay? And then to that, you're going to add cornstarch. And I gave you a little container that's labeled cornstarch. You're going to dump that whole container into the glue. I'm just gonna use my big pack here and measure it. And it's 2 teaspoons, but it's already in your container. So then we're gonna mix. Using that same stick, we're gonna mix this up really well. Kind of scrape the sides. You want to make sure you don't see any powder, and sometimes it gets in kind of big bunches, but just do the best you can, scraping the sides, looking at the bottom to be sure there isn't a pool of the cornstarch down there. Okay, that mine looks pretty good. But never hurts to mix as much as you can to get that all mixed in there. Next, you're going to use your food coloring. So I picked green. We're gonna put a couple drops in there. Remember, you can always add more. So I'm just gonna do a few squeezes. If I included it, you'll dump your container in there, and then you're gonna mix that up. Mix it really well so it's all green or whatever color you picked. And again, I'm kind of scraping against the sides to make sure mine is all mixed in. All right. Next, you need to turn on your tap and let it run a bit until your water is warm. And I have another cup in your kit, and you'll need your tablespoon, and you need 2 tablespoons of warm water that I would like you to put in this cup. I already did that. Then you're going to take your mix that says Borax and dump it in. I'm just gonna get mine out of my big box. It's 1 teaspoon, but yours is already measured out for you. You have another craft stick. Now you want to stir. And we're trying to dissolve this borax in the water, and it does take a bit of time. You're going to have to really stir. We want all that powder that we put in there to dissolve. You can stir and then you can stop for a minute, and you can see it's going to settle on the bottom, so you're going to keep stirring. So I hope this doesn't take too long. I'm just watching me stir. So we're gonna stir and stir and stir. And it does, mine is not dissolving very well. And it could be that my water isn't quite as hot as it should be, as warm as it should be, because I did it before I started the video. But hopefully you're doing yours right away, so your water will be nice and warm and it will dissolve it. And then just keep mixing. And then what you need to do is you're not going to use all of this. So once it's dissolved, you need to get your teaspoon that I told you to get at the beginning. If you forgot, go ahead and get a teaspoon. And we're going to take 1 teaspoon. I'm just going to mix it a little bit more. I don't think mine's mixing very well, but hopefully it's mixed enough that it'll work. 1 teaspoon of that, and we're gonna dump it into our container with our glue. And now we're gonna mix. And you can see right now that this is starting to stick to my craft stick, which is great. So you're gonna keep mixing it. You want it all to stick. It is really sticky, so you wanna keep mixing it as long as you can with the stick and inside the cup. And I'm kind of scraping my sides too to try to get that stuff that's stuck on the sides to stick. It's really stuck on here, which is good. That means it'll be less sticky. And then once it looks like you have most of it sticking, you can see some of it's rubbery and maybe some at the top it looks a little more wet. So you're gonna have to get your hands a little messy unless you think you might be able to scrape it off, but it's on there pretty tight. So you're gonna have to get your hands a little messy to kind of push that ball back into the cup. Now what I would recommend doing is you're going to work quickly. If you did the slime with me, same principle. You don't want to squish it between your hands. You want to kind of mix actually inside this cup. You're going to roll it all around. I'm just using one finger and I'm trying to, if you look in there, you'll see parts of it look more wet and that part you want to make go away. So I'm going to try to get that wet part to rub against the side of my cup. And you want to do this kind of as long as you can with one finger, and then you're just going to have to work quickly, right? I'm not going to squish it between my fingers. I'm kind of keeping my fingers stiff, and I'm mixing this around inside my cup. And I'm trying to use it to get up all the stuff that's kind of on the sides too. And you can feel it. It's going to start to feel more firm. It still might feel a little bit wet. If it seems like it's too wet, that's why we still have some of this some borax and water mixture. And you can just take a little bit on your finger and kind of rub it inside on the ball. Okay, and now as soon as I did that, my ball actually became more of a ball. It stiffened a bit. So keep doing that and see if you think, do you need a little bit more? Does it still seem like it's really sticky? Mine's a little sticky, so I might just take a tiny bit more of this and rub it on the outside of the ball, okay? Now you can see it's in a ball form, but it is really sticky. So when it feels somewhat rubbery. So when it's in that state, when it feels rubbery, then you know that you've used enough of this borax mixture. Then you want to put it between your palms. You're not using your fingers, and you're pressing to exert some pressure, and you're going to keep rolling it. You're going to roll it. Yeah, your hands are going to be messy, but that's okay. You can wash them once you finish this. Okay, so now it is looking more like a ball. It's not as sticky as it was. Keep rolling it, exerting some pressure, and kind of flip it around so each side of it. And then it's going to seem, and you just have to keep working it. So you definitely have to put pressure, keep rolling it between your hands. And I'm going to push this stuff aside so we can see if it works. Let's see if oh yeah, it did bounce. It bounced right off the camera. So keep rolling it. And okay, I definitely need to wash my hands because my hands are a little sticky. So when I'm trying to grab the ball, it's sticking to them. So maybe once you have it like this, put the ball down, not on your table, on your tray. Go wash your hands. Then pick up your ball again. It might flatten a little if you're gone. Because here, I'll show you. Here's one I made earlier and I put it in a bag and it's starting to flatten. But that's okay. You can roll it again and bounce and catch it. So there you go, homemade bouncy ball. Have a good time with that. Thank you.